Hi everyone, so I've been using the Nexus 4 now for a few days, and as much as I love the phone, I wanted to shoot a video and just tell you guys of the top 3 reasons why you would think twice about buying the phone. As I've said before in my review, I think it's a fantastic phone, but I just wanted to do this just to make those of you who haven't picked one up yet of what you're letting yourself in for. Now, the top 3 reasons why you might think twice about buying this phone, I don't think for me any of them are deal breakers. I mean, it's still a fantastic phone, but just some things to bear in mind. The first thing I would say is that the camera, I mean, it's passable, but I wouldn't say that it's the best mobile phone camera that I've ever used. I mean, in low light, I think it's alright. It was better than the Galaxy Nexus anyway. But what I would say is that if you're coming from a smartphone with a better sensor, I think you've got to be prepared for the fact that although you can take decent shots, as you can see here, I think there are times when, especially in low light, where I've noticed that my Samsung Galaxy S3 in particular had better camera quality. So this is a sample video that I took recently, and one thing I noticed is that if you wobble the screen like that, you can see a sort of jelly underwater camera effect, which my Samsung Galaxy S3 didn't have. Although the video is great, and it's in HD, it's I've got to say it's not the best camera that I've ever used. So just be careful about that. Okay, so the second thing that you need to bear in mind, sort of the second of the 3 reasons why you ought to think twice about this phone, is the internal storage. Now, I picked up the 16GB model, and after the immediate upgrade to 4.2 Jelly Bean, it had about 12GB remaining, which is still decent, but bear that in mind, especially if you go for the 8GB version. Chances are you'll have around 6GB to play with. Now, whilst 16GB should be plenty, on my previous Samsung Galaxy S3 with a 32GB micro SD card in there, I would never worry about how much space certain things were taking up, because I always knew that I had that buffer in there. I knew I could buy an extra micro SD card if I wanted to, but it's something that I'm conscious of when using this phone, especially when you consider some of the larger games on the Play Store can be up to about 2-3 gigs, probably not 3 but about 2 gigs maybe. Download a couple of those and you're already through a large chunk of your storage, so bear that in mind. Okay, and so my number 1 negative about the phone so far after a few days usage is the battery. Now, reviews out there on the web are quite mixed. Some reviews have said that it's pretty decent, other reviews have said it's awful. My experience is that it's probably somewhere in between the two. Whilst it hasn't been fantastic, it's generally been enough to last me until the evening. I wouldn't say all the way until bedtime, especially if it's heavy usage, but probably until the evening. I've unplugged the phone maybe about 10 minutes ago just for the purposes of this review, and I haven't done anything that harsh with it. I've had the screen on while I've been talking through certain things with you guys, and it's dropped 6% already in, say, that 10 minutes. So please bear that in mind. I'm always conscious about the battery. Every time I take it in the car with me, I always plug it in, just because I'm just conscious that I just need that extra buffer just to make it through until the evening, especially if I don't think I've got another chance to charge it. So there you are. That's basically my top 3 reasons why you should think twice about purchasing the Nexus 4. Now I can't reiterate enough that I think the phone is absolutely fantastic. I've really enjoyed using it over the past few days. It really is a stunning piece of kit, and it probably is one of the most favourite phones that I've ever used. So just bear those 3 things in mind, especially if you're going for the 8GB version, because storage space might be an issue. But weigh these things up. The phone is fantastic. 4.2 is amazing. The build quality is amazing. The screen is absolutely fantastic. So weigh these things up, make your own mind up. If those 3 things that I've named are important to you, this might not be the phone for you. And one thing that I haven't included in my top 3 is lack of 4G. And that's because, as you might be able to tell, I'm based in the UK. 4G penetration is extremely low right now. There's only one network offering it, and they're doing it at pretty high prices. So lack of 4G hasn't made it into my top 3, and that's why. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope it helps you in your decision making if you decide to go for it. I hope you enjoy the next